All right, now, impact investing is a growing trend across the world where companies, organizations, and funds make investments with the intention to generate measurable social and environmental impact alongside the financial return. It's a growing trend that occurs across asset classes, including venture capital and private equity. And to give us some perspective from a pioneer of impact investing in Nigeria's agriculture sector, I'm joined in the studio by Kola Macha. He's the CEO of Dorio Partners. Thank you so much, Kola, for joining us. It's always great to have you on the show. And maybe just to clarify what impact investing actually means, because I gather it's a relatively new trend across the world. So can you just describe how you see impact investing, particularly in Nigeria?
Sure. I think fundamentally, what drove the advent of impact investing was really a recognition that the social challenges facing the world were far too great for just government and non-governmental organizations to really handle alone. And the private sector really needs to step in to play an active role in solving these challenges while it does what it does every day, which is make money.
Right. Okay, so, but can we be more specific on your motivation for setting up Dorio? Clearly, you're in the agricultural space, a lot of things happening there in Nigeria. So your thoughts on why Dorio at this time?
Well, our motivation was quite simple. We believe that Nigeria is on a path to greatness. However, this path has the potential to be derailed if we are unable to create millions of jobs now.
Right.
Nigeria needs to create 40 million jobs over the next 10 years, and by 2030, 80 million jobs. That's the 40 million, that's the population of Kenya, Tanzania, 80 million, that's the population of Germany,
Right.
fourth largest economy in the world.
Right.
So we firmly believe that the fastest way to create these jobs is by investing in commercial, scalable businesses that increase the profitability of smallholder agriculture, which in turn will create market forces that will draw millions of young people into the sector.
Right, but it must be a tough terrain. Nigeria, I think, is tough for any type of business. And in a sense, even though agriculture has been with us for so many years, it seems to be like a new thing given the reforms we've seen recently. What are the big challenges that you're facing?
Well, I think for us, the reality is that we've been in the agricultural investment space for a while now, and the reality is 3 years ago versus today, it's a completely different environment due to the leadership that we're seeing with the new administration, particularly with the advent of the Minister of Agriculture driving passionately the growth of the agriculture sector.
Right.
So recognizing that we have the necessary political will, now it's really the job of the private sector to go out there and make the necessary investments, understand where the challenges are, and work with government to come up with.
So what are the big challenges you're facing?
Well, for us, the major challenge really is around access to credit,
Right.
working capital at the smallholder level. Because at the end of the day, a smallholder farmer who wants to produce maize, say best practice rates, will need $500 to $600 per hectare. At smallholder farmers today, maybe an entire year is making $300.
Yeah.
So unlocking credit to that group is really the number one challenge and where we focus most of our energy on.
Right. Okay. So give us some of your early success stories, if you like, because I know that Dorio has pretty ambitious targets: 500,000 jobs by 2020, 5 million jobs by 2030.
Well, that's
Is
actually
that correct?
Well, those are our targets for our Babangona business. As an entity, we expect 10 million jobs by 2030.
Right. So what have you been able to achieve so far?
Well, I think first and foremost, we've been very fortunate to have pretty rapid growth through partnerships and with both government, private sector entities, as well as civil society. That's enabled us to, in the last 10 years, to scale our investment tenfold. Now, from an impact standpoint, we've been able to basically enable hundreds of farmers to lift themselves out of poverty. Examples include one of our farmers, Ibrahim Mustafa, young man on 1.1 hectares of land. He was able to, last year, make $1,450 from that piece of land through the financing that we were able to avail to him that enabled him to get the credit, the knowledge, and the inputs to get optimum yields, and then markets to get best pricing.
Right.
We have tremendous stories like that. Another gentleman, Samaila Haruna, this guy had 2 hectares, which is about 3 football fields of land. He was able to make $2,000 from that 2 hectares. He was able to leverage that investment to buy a car to get into the transport business, and then also get into the cement block business as well.
Right.
So our goal is to basically take those and replicate. By 2020, we want to have about 500,000 Samailas and Ibrahim Mustafas. By 2030, we firmly believe we'll have somewhere in the range of 5 million Samailas and Ibrahim Mustafas.
You're pretty confident that it's scalable in a market like Nigeria?
Oh, fundamentally, our business is very simple. We don't actually go out. People ask me, where's my farm? I don't own a piece of land. What we do is we work with existing farmers, identify the best of them, and give them all the necessary services in a private sector manner through our franchising model that we have to enable them to become exceptionally successful farmers.
So I know it's not all about the return, but clearly it's part of the return is definitely motivation here. So talk to us about kind of the return on investment you're getting in agriculture in Nigeria.
Well, let me preface actually. It is actually about the return, because fundamentally, if I'm trying to solve a problem where I need to create 5 million jobs, I have to raise tremendous amounts of capital. For 1 million farmers, I need to provide about $1 billion in financing.
Right.
So to raise that capital, I need to provide strong returns. So it is actually first and foremost about the return. And so for us, we've been able to, our investments have actually, been tracking very closely to our cash flow projections, and in some instances above that, and we target about a 22% IRR on our investments.
Right.